The Hindhead Tunnel is a £370 million project headed by the Highways Agency. It's been designed to comply with new European Union standards and to smooth the traffic flow along this busy 9,000-metre stretch of the A3.
It's replacing a bit of road at the Devil's Punch Bowl that has been synonymous with a number of serious and fatal accidents, and hopefully it'll actually improve road safety from that point of view.
The new road and tunnels have been designed with a focus on effective accident prevention and incident response, and to meet the best practice of the UK road tunnel safety regulations and Highways Agency standards. As part of the final stages of commissioning, a live exercise has been staged.
We made it realistic in terms of testing what each emergency service and the local authority had to do and communicate with each other to do it.
The Hindhead Tunnel has actually given us the opportunity to exercise together in great detail for the first time, where we've never really had that before.
We had a major incident in the tunnel and a secondary incident behind that. The operators in the control room had to respond to that incident. They had to deal with the emergency services and liaise with other agencies.
For many months now, there's been a working group working together on the emergency response to the tunnel. An initial scenario where just one lane is blocked, whether it be for a broken down vehicle or some debris that needs to be cleared. That wouldn't require our attendance from the fire service. But there could be a scenario where somebody is trapped in a vehicle, but we can get access to it through the incident wall. That will then involve a complete tunnel closure. It was a scenario that tested the fire service, the ambulance service and the police service.
The initial incident is an HGV in a rear-end collision with a car, resulting in a fire. 60 metres behind, a secondary collision takes place. Two cars have collided, with a minibus striking one of the cars, causing it to skid across the tunnel. A coach, HGV and other cars are stranded between the incidents, and traffic starts to build behind the secondary collision.
We've got an RTC, smoke light, we've got a fire.
The tunnel controllers in the principal tunnel service building are first alerted to the HGV collision by the radar detection of stopped vehicles and people on foot, as passengers get out of their cars to see what's happened. This is confirmed by CCTV images.
We're going to close the whole tunnel. This is zone 8 on.
Another alarm is raised by a passenger in a car who's witnessed the second collision.
Further down there's a big fire, an articulated lorry. I don't know what's in front of that, but that's on fire, there's loads of smoke.
The public address evacuation messages are sounded.
Leave your vehicle immediately and follow emergency.
Drivers and passengers follow the signs in acoustic directional sounder and make their escape through the tunnel cross passageway to the opposite tunnel bore. The control room inform the emergency services, giving location, tunnel bore and best access routes, and describe any fire, casualties, dangerous goods or trapped traffic they've observed. The ventilation fans have now kicked in and the smoke is clearing, revealing the full extent of the collisions.
In the tunnel. Leave your vehicle immediately.
In terms of emergency evacuation, people appeared at the portal, and they appeared at the portal quite quickly, which showed that the messages that we broadcast for people to evacuate showed that can all work.
As the emergency services arrive, objectives are identified and prioritised, a plan made and a command point set up.
We linked in very early with fire and ambulance colleagues on arrival and with the tunnel supervisor.
The tunnel control centre is so close to the portal that the emergency services started to use that as silver command, and that seemed to make the whole response go a little bit more smoothly, dealing with the emergency service directly in the control room.
At the southern portal, outside the secondary tunnel service building, backup water supplies are tested in case of a systems failure.
probably going to ask you to make sure that this road stays shut.
At the control points at each end of the tunnel and in both tunnel bores, the emergency response is now fully operational.
Yes, Romeo 2, please be advised, ETL has been deployed, text and email has been sent.
Yeah, there's some pedestrians in Zone A by Cross Passageway 9. They're actually with the Fire and Rescue, but if you could speak to Fire and Rescue and ask them to vacate through Bore B, please. Over.
Just keep them there for a minute. Okay. Where's Simon? Right, can you look after these? Right, let's have that.
We've got feedback from the crews, then we're going to have to hold you in for a second, I'm afraid.
We'll hold you in. You're okay, what we're going to do... Stick on the pavement and just carry on walking.
Bore B seems to be pretty much clear now for entering.
Any idea on the number of vehicles in between the fire and the RTC?
As our standard procedure obviously would be to wear breathing apparatus initially. Because the tunnel's a unique operating environment, a decision could be made under a risk assessment to remove breathing apparatus.
I'm redeploying Grey Shot from the South Portal. They'll come here and they will rejoin, so we've got 2 pumps on the RTC.
Okay, Mike 90, please be advised that the 3 pedestrians have now cleared Bore B.
Lee, which one do we want water on? On one. Lee.
There's a lot of positives from the incident. We've tested the fire main first of all, and we know that that will deliver sufficient water for us to hold an effective fire break and then extinguish the fire. The fire main and the water supplies at the secondary tunnel service building, we're now confident, will give us the water that we need for the duration of the incident. The drainage system worked very effectively. It went down to the impounding sump and was pumped away. So again, we know that there was no undue pooling that we need to walk through. So very satisfied with that. Certain things about noise, communications with all the background noise that was there, the amount of physical work that's required in moving kit and carrying out operations in breathing apparatus. It's a lot of highly demanding tasks over a very short time frame without really having a lot of time to stop and take stock. There's a lot of key decisions that need to be made very quickly and communicated to your peers. So the communications between the fire service and sector commanders within the fire service, and then between the fire service and the other emergency services, was always going to be a test in time.
Okay.
The Hindhead Tunnel is making us look at the way that we respond to incidents. So it is presenting new challenges.
The ventilation system was a fantastic aid. As soon as that was switched on, the tunnel cleared instantly. Obviously that allows us to see what we're doing, and that increases your safety tremendously because you can look for trip hazards. The road traffic collision meant that we needed to assess the scene and look at the priorities. Very soon a message was sent back to command support to say that we needed additional resources and requested the attendance of the ambulance service. The tunnel places a structure, and it encloses you from the eyes and ears of your senior officers. They physically can't see what's going on, whereas if you're in the open, you can see, you can get a feel of what's happening and you can take stock. Incident commanders were relying on the information coming back from crews. It's trying to transmit a very accurate picture of what's happening inside the tunnel to the people that are making the decisions outside.
The arriving ambulance services now wait for confirmation of when it's safe to begin assessing injuries and triaging casualties. When the emergency services confirm that it's safe, rescue and recovery begins for the injured and trapped, and casualties are taken to hospital. Drivers and passengers who've now escaped the tunnel are triaged by the ambulance service and logged by the police. Meanwhile, passengers who haven't needed medical treatment are taken to a rest centre. With the fire extinguished, firefighting equipment stowed and all casualties recovered, the operation is handed over to the police for investigation. The police direct driver evacuees to remove their cars, and the process of removing damaged vehicles and cleaning up begins before the tunnel is cleared for reopening.
We all came together as a team, and it's only through doing that that we can bring these types of incidents to a safe conclusion. So a lot of the things that we hoped would happen did, and they happened to a very good standard.
We have worked fairly well with each other. We've got a good understanding of what our hazardous air response team can do now. We identified some problems and some different ways of working, but again, this is the ideal time to find those out. We've started on the road to working really well together, and it looks really positive.
We've got over this hurdle of undertaking this emergency exercise and really passing that test.
Yeah, what we found from the exercise was that the basic plans that we prepared were sound and would work, so that was great news.